All right, what's going on? Happy Wednesday and happy January to you and yours. I almost forgot what month we're in, and
It feels
I
like we
can't
haven't been
believe,
on.
right? It's
It,
unbelievable.
it felt to me like we hadn't been on in a long time.
The months are flying by in the blink of an eye, but we need to do this more, I think, because it's
According to Hub, who'll join us here shortly. Hub thinks we should do a live stream and do more. So as you guys know, Bay is also a part of our new advertising and marketing campaign for the company, him and his wife Coco. So a lot of this has to do with our new launch. We might be increasing some of this, some pop-ups, some stuff in discussion on what you guys want to see and hear, from your real estate professionals. And I'm thrilled. Full disclosure, it is my cousin on my mom's side. Thrilled to bring Jody on here shortly. She's awesome, a ton of energy, great people, and very important role in the real estate process. It's something we did from day one: real estate photography, professional photos on our listings. Bay, this stuff, and we're going to get into it a little bit. And Jody and I had a brief conversation today as she was running around Doylestown and everywhere else photographing new homes. We were talking about, like, a quick example, and we'll get into it, about I had a client in the city. Now it's 40 miles an hour plus for me to get to the city from Coatesville area. So he wanted a yard for the dogs.
Okay.
And the city's limited, right? So you don't always get a yard in the city. You might have a little postage stamp. I would say more than half of the pictures did not have a picture of the rear of the property, something so darn simple. How can I decipher whether it's a match for my client if you're not giving me something to look at? And part of the pictures, is like fishing, is to get you on the hook and bring you inside to see the property. Sometimes I think we can go overboard as well with too much, right? Because then people start to nitpick. We really want you to see the highlights of the property and get you in there physically to see the property. And that's the pictures. They talk about the pictures and 1,000 words. It's a huge part of what we do. And taking a picture with your iPhone or your Samsung, you're not going to get the angles that professionals get. Jody can do 360 for full room tours. So we're going to get into some of that.
Let me just say this. I'm going to, as we would say in the wrestling business, Dan, I'm going to put Jody over before she even gets in here. I don't know if you know this or not. What Jody does, I did for 13, 14 years in the car business.
Yes.
And I'm going to say what was said to me, and I never realized this till it was said to me by one of the GMs at a dealership. He said, "You are the most important person to this dealership, because without you, the world can't see what our dealership has to offer, and you keep our dealership open 24/7."
And that's another thing too, about being able to do the video presentations and stuff. People can go on and really. Jody also has a camera where she basically puts it in the middle of the room there, and it does like a 360. So you can click on the picture of the room and really get a feel for that room, the windows, maybe some of the lighting and stuff. So a lot of that stuff. And what about if you're moving, right? We talk about nationwide referrals. To be able to have a photographer go in there and to have the video and the still shots goes a long way in presenting that property.
Absolutely.
And there's some of the junk pictures we see out there. So we'll get into that with Jody here in just a minute. The junk pictures, I'm tired of open toilets. I'm tired of looking at a coal bin. Open toilet. We don't need it. I don't need your coal bin. I don't need to see the color of your shower curtain that has rusted rings around it. Some of the pictures, I say why. Like I call my wife over and I just say why.
Yeah.
And it looks atrocious. The overall presentation listing, and we'll talk about that, the way I package a listing up for a client. And I always think about this when I'm saying it. What if I sold that house and someone else wants to sell in that development and they go on and look at my listing and see how it's presented? What's it look like in pictures? How's the wording? Is all the details for the listing in there, like the room sizes and all? How are we presenting our listings? That makes a difference. I bet you, I'm not going to disparage, but I bet you some of the big guys are out there that aren't really paying that much detail like we do, So quickly, and we're going to bring Jody in quickly, the market. It's going this way again, folks. I've read all the articles. I listen to all the news. It's heading this way. We have demand for buyers in January because in our market in Philadelphia, it's relatively warm. So we haven't hit the real bad weather. And the amount of homes for sale are just not matching the demand. So supply and demand is still shifted to the buyer side. Home prices actually are moderating a hair, but really they're starting to eke up a little bit, especially in desirable neighborhoods. So we still have another hot market. We'll let you know when it cools. We're honest with you. We tell you the truth. I have 5 deals right now. 5. It's January. The office has booked 7 already since the end of December. So again, we're a small shop, so we do 40 to 50 deals a year. We're looking at 9 deals out of the gate in January in the Philadelphia market. So we're still hot. You've seen a lot of stuff out there on the housing market, what's going on. We're just telling you what we're seeing from our perspective. Is Hub in?
Hub is in.
Let's bring Hub up real quick.
All right, here we go.
Jody, hang in there. It's all part of my shtick here. I should be on 94. What's he got? Oh, he's got eggs. He's got eggs today.
This is your big chance, man.
That's a gold mine.
That's $20 right there.
Yeah, well, the thing, that's true. $1 an egg used to be 99.6 for a dozen.
Yeah, they're talking
99.6 for a dozen. 99-cent store.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's true. So Hub joins us again. Let me give you a quick pop here. Hub is going to be joining us pretty much when he can here in a monthly rotation. He's going to be my Ed McMahon here, and we're going to learn a little bit about him. So I looked up Ed McMahon before we joined today, and do you know he was a fighter pilot in the Korean War, and he worked in Philadelphia. So
he did a lot of amazing stuff.
Yes,
he did Star Search.
Yes, there's a bunch of stuff, and that was based in Philadelphia, I think, for a small time, the beginning of that. One of those shows that he did. But what we're going to start doing in months to come here, maybe we'll get into it at the end of the program, is kind of learn a little bit about Hub. We know he's a musician. We know his background a little bit. California musician, had taught people how to play musical instruments for a long time. We're going to have a food segment monthly. We're going to introduce it this month. That's why Hub kind of teased it. We're going to introduce a food segment because Hub always has some rare stuff down there in Texas. I'll be down there.
Sure. I'm trying to be normal.
The key word is trying. So Hub joins us. We're going to bring Jody Robinson on right now. Hub, Jody is my cousin, in full disclosure. She is a professional photographer by trade. Look at her. She looks beautiful. Professional
hey, Jody.
photographer.
Hello. How you doing, Hub?
Is it sauce or is it gravy?
It's gravy all the way.
Yay.
Hub is so Jody and I were on the Fasciola side of my family, and most people were entrepreneurs. A lot of them had their own businesses, including my Aunt Londa had her own candy business. We had construction businesses. Jody's our resident photographer. Sometimes it's bad and good. When we have events, she always has to take pictures of everything. And she even was nice enough at our Christmas party to shoot. She said, this is Jody right in a nutshell. I'll take a few pictures for you at the party. I said, don't go crazy. Enjoy yourself. So she has her personal iPhone. That night, she sends me like 160 pictures, and she burned her iPhone out. That's how many pictures I got. So I'm glad she's coming on. People don't like to come on; they get nervous, but it's like this is real important, and I'm thrilled she's on. So when we first started, we were looking at things to differentiate ourselves from the competition, and one of the first things we did is implement professional photography. And Jody started to handle that for us. Jody kind of transitioned a little bit, and we'll let her give a quick bio. She transitioned to weddings and portraits and stuff. And a big piece of what she does now, if majority of what she does is real estate photography. And, that's our asset, right? So when we're listing, that's our asset. That's our moneymaker. And we bring Jody in and she presents a property for sale for us in pictures, in video. It sets you apart. And we talked about this, Bay and I, as we came on the program, about just the small stuff, like take a picture of the back of the house for me so I can see if that meets my client's criteria. The dumbest little stuff we can't do. We're taking pictures of banisters. I'm not sure what we're taking pictures of anymore. I mean, some of this, I get so mad, and you really can't go into detail, disparage people, but my head blows off. I go, this is unprofessional. It looks sloppy. And it's just not like coal bin in your basement. They're not in use anymore. They're a storage area. I don't need a picture of it. I don't need a picture of your heater because it happens to be newer than 50 years old. If that's like a selling point of a house, but we're getting to the point now where it really, really makes a difference. And there's a lot of things that they're adding on now than just still pictures. So Jody, kind of maybe just plug yourself, what you do, your company. This is like any small business, right? So I'm getting calls left and right. So this is like any small business. Jody's kind of works. She gets a little bit of help, but she does a lot of it on her own. We take pride in what we do, and no one's going to outwork us. Every time Mark Reale, myself, Jody, anytime I call one of us that's out there hustling, I always like, where you at? Jody's like, I'm up in Doylestown today. So we're always hustling and take a look at my listings. Take a look at some other people that Jody works with. You'll see what a great job she does. Above and beyond. We'll talk about some stuff about moving furniture and stuff and all too. But Jody, just give us an intro and I'll let these guys get in here and we'll go from there.
Hello, gentlemen. Well, thanks so much, Dan, for having me on the show. Jody Robinson here. My company is Photo Designs by Jody. This will be my 25th year in business. I still love what I do every day. Every day is a new experience. I do a lot of real estate. I also work with a magazine that I do a lot of editorial photography throughout Chester, Bucks, and Delaware County, Montgomery County as well. Real estate's been really good ever since COVID. A lot more realtors are taking photography much more seriously, and I've been working with Dan for several years. I love what I do, and I want to make these houses look great. I don't just come in there and say, all right, let's take the photo. You know, if the toilet seat's up, we'll close it. We'll make sure that, you know, all the food on the stove is put away and make it look a lot nicer and more appealing for people to come in. So I've been working with Dan and a whole bunch of other realtors and just a lot of professionals. I've changed my business more professional with professional business people. I really enjoy working that way and keeping it fresh and changing up and just having fun.
I got one more question. How is it possible that you're 25 years in already?
I know. I can't.
I think my hair gets worse as all these years go by.
Hey, it is pretty bad. We're just.
Oh my! I got to get out of that. Danny gave me great lighting there. 25 years. Whoo! I remember. What school did you go to in the city? Where did you go to school?
I went to for college. I went to Antonelli Institute. They were in Erdingham, like near Chestnut Hill.
So it's a true professional, not just somebody that's a housewife that says, I'm taking photography. You know,
no mamarazzis here. I do for a living, so I love it.
All right, gentlemen, I'll let you jump in, then we'll get into some stuff here. There's a lot in that package with virtual staging and all kinds of stuff as far as the photography goes. Jody, one thing I talk too much, but one thing. The talked about the realtors taking it more seriously now. So it's kind of maybe elaborate just a second on what you're seeing with the real estate professional, because people we're cheap. People are cheap. They don't want to spend a dime. God forbid they spend one dime to present something well. A lot of people are very, very, Joe will tell you, very, very frugal. We'll use that word for lack of more. I'm from Fallcroft, but be a little more respectful. So, you know, what are you saying, Joe? What are you hearing on the street as far as, because we're going past the pictures now. We're going in a whole bunch of other stuff. So what are you hearing from other reels? Like, hey, I really need to start using professional photography.
I feel like my business has grown a lot since COVID for real estate because more realtors want to make sure their images look the best and their first impression is on, you know, on the internet and all of the realtor.com. And I feel like I just have to keep on, you know, there's more virtual staging. It seems like a lot more homes are vacant that they want to like really put a nice look. It's pretty amazing that we don't need a staging crew to come in and put, you know, a bed and all of that stuff. Now we're just visually putting it in digitally. Like I'm sending it out and within 24 hours, they're having a house completely staged for them per image. And it's so much cheaper. I mean, again, we're losing, you know, we used to have professional stagers. They're no longer needed, you know, and it's changing the course also with drones and 360 cameras are changing as well. You know, during COVID, everybody wanted to see a 360 view because they couldn't get into the homes. And I feel like that changed a lot. Like a lot of realtors, made it a priority to get better photos because there was so much more of a competition. So, I have my valued customers that I love working with, and I picked up a nice amount along the way as well because they're valued, they're valuing their photos and they're taking it more seriously. So I'm grateful for that and grateful to do what I do every day.
So are you saying that they use like a Photoshop to put items in the rooms and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So, Dan will say, hey, I want this house to look very modern or maybe country. It depends on what the house looks like, the existing walls. So I'll take the interiors of the photos. I can send a few to Dan and he can put them up.
I was going to say, I should have pulled up our cousin Linda just did one.
Yeah.
I should have pulled up Linda's.
I know I can't send it to you right now. I don't know how to do that on the podcast, but we'll just take the room. Well, you can either do the room with nothing in it and they'll add it, or there's been cases where people need to move and they are a mess and the house looks like a mess, but we know that it has great bones and we want to show it off. So we'll actually, they'll send it to me and I'll have my lab work on it and we'll take out everything from the room down to the wall and show what the vision can be. And I think that's changed the game as well. It looks amazing. It's pretty powerful.
So Hub, they have this virtual reality software now that you can just literally place the furniture in a room, like Jody was saying too.
It really is. I'll have send you some images, Bay, in Hub. I'll send them to you.
Is there like a group of people that you send that to, and then
I do
tell them I want this room to have a country flair.
Yes.
This one to have a rock and roll flair.
Absolutely. We could do whatever. We can even hang you upside down if you like.
I was thinking about Donnie and Maria. I'm a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll.
Whatever you like. You know what? If you put a price tag, they'll finish it for you, and they do it in such a quick turnaround time. Like I was developing most of my images, but I'm so busy. I have to outsource it now because I can't turn around the realtors need the photos in like 4 hours. Some of them, wow. I just had 2 this week that needed their photos in 4 hours and they had no problem paying a rush fee. And so I'll make sure that, I offer these different services to my clients, but it's pretty amazing what, you just have to keep going with the times and changing because there's so much to do. And if you're sitting just taking still photos like old style, you're not going to be valid anymore. So you have to keep evolving.
You know what? The one thing, go ahead, Bay, and I'll interject it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, I don't think people even realize even just the still photos, because like I said, I was doing the cars for years.
Right.
And one of the guys was getting into real estate on the side. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, I want you to like shoot houses for me. And I tried one. I said, yeah, give me a car. I don't think people realize how hard it really is to truly shoot rooms in a house and get it to look good.
Lighting is everything. Yeah, absolutely. Like you need to make sure your lighting. Like Dan, you were all talking, like you look at the sites, these realtor pages, and you're like, what are these people thinking? Like they have the toilet seat up. There's like a cat running through the photo. Or like some like old person's in the background, like eating a cup of coffee, eating something. You're like, you can't put this stuff on there. So it is kind of crazy what you can do.
Bay, before we were going to bring you on for that question, I was going to say, like, she shot my mother-in-law's house, and they had a big island in the middle of the kitchen, and she took kind of an eye level, like straight across the island picture. And it was just a very, like, it showcased the quality of the island and the size of it, but it was just such a unique angle. I mean,
right.
a lot of stuff we do a lot of older homes. There are 1,000, 1,100 square foot. To show the actual size of the room in them and give people it's a skill. Jody couldn't do one for me, right? So she was, I forget, you think you went away for the first time ever.
Yeah,
so we were in Drexel Hill, beautiful old stone home. What was that? I forget the name of that builder, but I asked the guy that used to work with us to come down and shoot it because Jody wasn't there, and he was nice enough to do it, but the quality and the creativity was not there. And I think it's through experience, passion, pride in what you do. It all wraps up into professional. Some people just can't take Now a lot of realtors think they're a photographer on the side because it's not. I do it. That's an update. Like you said, yeah, that's great. And sometimes we go up and we show up and Jody's there 60 to 90 minutes shooting one of my Fallcroft special twins or something, and we're trying to present it, so we talk about people getting a feel but not showing too much. Does anybody talk about that, Jody? Well, I think sometime when I see 66 pictures, it's too much. You're going overboard. Unless like Linda's $1 million house, you really need to show and it's a bigger footprint. But on some of these traditional Delco stuff, it's hard to put 66 pictures up and make it make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know my business has changed. Realtors used to want like 50 photos, but it's like you want to capture your audience with like 15 to 25 photos to get them in to say, oh, I'd love to see this listing. I want to see more. Like, we're not going to show, some of the rooms that aren't looking their best, but we got to make sure we pick the right angles and make sure we showcase the best light so we can entice these people to come in.
And did you change your packages to kind of reflect that as far as the number of pictures go? Yeah,
I did. I changed my perspective. I used to give like 40 to 50 images. So our standard package starts at 28 to 30 images. And I've had such a great response from other realtors, and I think it's just enough. Now, if we have a multi-million-dollar listing, we can definitely go up and we can figure out what's best for that home and what we want to showcase. I just did a $2.5 million home that was sitting on the market for almost 7 months, and they had a big company come in, and our smaller agent, she was like, you know what, let's virtually stage this. And the other realtor, they honestly took photos with their iPhone, and the comparison was just slim to none. And this realtor worked so hard, and she put in, there was nothing there. It was bare bones of a brand new house. I mean, it was gorgeous, but people couldn't visualize what it would look like. So that's when we brought the digital staging in, and it was great. And they actually brought in all of these boards to like showcase what the vision could be for, I feel like younger couples, we need to coach them on what things could be, and that's what their dream house will be. So
did she take the pictures with the iPhone, and then they use those photos to put digital staging on, or did they use a more professional camera?
No, the previous agent that let the house sit for almost 7 months before this agent had gotten it, they just took iPhone photos, and they were not even like wide views. Dan, you know what they look like. They were horrible. And there was a lot of window light. And sometimes when you photograph a house with a window, you're only going to see the outside, and then the rest of the house will look dark. So, they did a terrible job. And since they have a big name, they just expected that they'll sell that house. And it was so nice that my realtor, she worked so hard. And they now this house is pending, but it really made a difference by staging it digitally and showing it off in a different light and making it look gorgeous, which it had all the intention to look that way.
And we have an Airbnb, and so Airbnb has their own professional photographers that will come out and take pictures of your listing. And so that's where my experience with this as well is that we when we first started, we took our own pictures, but when we really wanted to get going, we hired the professional to do it. And the guy that came out, and he said, this is when we first started the one listing, the pool house. And he said, this is going to be a hit. He said, I've taken like 600 or 800 pictures of places. And he said he was very encouraging, and he made a lot of stuff look basically unreal. Like, I'm not saying in an overly exaggerated way, but maybe sort of in a way, some of the stuff he really made it look like really crazy with these wide angle lenses and all this kind of stuff.
Sometimes we get that, right, Dan? They're like, oh, it looks much nicer in these photos. And we're like, we didn't do anything.
Let's talk about the two things real quick. The wide angle lens, because I'm always in the way. And Jody will be like, stand over there. And then I do. And she's like, no, you're still in my view. I'm like, I'm 30 feet over here. Yeah, move over here. You're still in my angle on this shot. So I'm always in the way. And she also mentioned, which I've been harping, and she said it subtly and indirectly, but you talk about a big player had that listing, right? What'd they do? iPhone slapped up junk photos. You can be a big player because you bet they spend the advertising, you have the name recognition. But no one, Jody will tell you, and Bay, I always credit other realtors too.
Mhm.
Some of us don't do. I did over 10 million in 2 years. I'm dangerous enough player, but some people do 30, 40 million. We're gonna pay attention to your transaction. We're gonna put the dedication, the time. And when Jody comes out to shoot photographs, you can see the passion, the love, the way she articulates with the clients, speaks with the clients, confidence in what we do, right? And we're hungry because we're not the multi-million-dollar, big-time, super top 5% people. So you got to think about that. You know, they go in and sell it, and I go, look at this junk. Like I look at stuff myself, and I'm like, yeah, my team, my professional team, Bo DeForge, Jody, Ernie Homer, we're vetted heavily. I mean, I vet people to the nines, and we really care. And like Jody said, her friend that's an agent was able to go in there and sell that property because she did the extra work that it needed to present that properly in the right fashion. Because some of the younger people, they're blinded. They can't see. They don't know what they're looking at. Here's what we do. And we talk about it. When I go into a house, I look at the heater, the hot water heater, the roof. I try to see what the age of stuff is. I'm not worried about the floors and the countertop. That's the cheaper stuff. And that's what some of the young people do. They'll put a $1.98 floor in, and the ceiling beams are full. We just did one. We went up in the attic, and the beams were all eaten by termites, and the place was ready to implode. I couldn't get out of there quick enough. Nice countertop. Your trestles are about to implode in your attic. So they're the things that we'll look at. We'll climb. It's a joke. It's a joke. Like we'll go in places, and Hub made a point about the pictures. That you look at the pictures and you go, oh, this is it. And then you go in and you go, wait a minute. This don't match. The photographer did a great job. And that's part of what we need to do as realtors. Reel people into the house so they can see whether they like it or not. And I think there's a fine line on how much you put, because some people will zoom in and get real picky. Hey, there's dirt on that. You know, there's a cobweb on the ceiling. But you got to present it so you have enough interest to draw them in and say, hey, this might be a fit for you. Go ahead, Hub.
Well, no, I do think it actually really did make a big difference. All the different things. The guy really had an eye for detail, and he took pictures of the things that would get people in. Like we have a homemade, I don't know what it's called, but it's got a whole sort of entertainment system that my dad made in the 50s, and people will come just because they want to see that thing. You know, the unusual, oddball things that people want. And he took pictures of the fountain in the pond and all this kind of stuff, and he would take pictures of things that would pique the interest of the person.
Which is a great point, because that's why we have Hubble too, because it goes back to the photographer in a lot of ways knows creatively how to present that house. The real estate agent might think they know, but they're not they don't have the eye for it. And see how for your situation, Hub, the guy knew it was an Airbnb, and he knew what to accentuate to draw people. We're trying to do business, right? This all lends us to making money. So it's a great tie-in to. They know more. You think you might know, but they know more than you know. It's worth the 200, 300, whatever you're spending for your
It was worth every penny. It was worth every penny. And he knew and the thing is that Airbnb either he picks them or somebody in that genre over there. They pick them out of all the pictures that they took. They know what is going to get people to come and sign up, because they want to make money too off of your place.
Yeah.
Sure.
Jody, are you getting pushed back on? I think it's kind of stopped now on pricing and stuff like that anymore, or like people that haven't been using it asking you, well, why should I use professional photography?
No, I haven't had that in a while. I haven't had anyone say that. I'd love to get more clients. I just feel like a lot of people, especially realtors, will just type online like, hey, I need a real estate photography. And then you'll have like 3 of the main groups come up. And then they'll hire local photographers. It would just be great if realtors would use local, and then they would have a great rapport with, a local person, instead of going online and picking the cheapest outfit, which they're going to, freelance to the average photographer that is local. It kind of stinks that sometimes people will just go the first person they see online to get the cheapest deal, but really they're really using the same people. It's just in a different name, or, like they're freelancing. But a lot of times when you get these freelancers, they're not going to, it's a number like, hey, I have 5 jobs today. I don't have to move the trash cans. I don't care about the light. I don't have to make sure the windows are down and straight. So it just makes a really big difference to use local. You might spend like $10 more, and you'll also have like a great photographer that you can count on each week to say, hey, this is going to be a tough one. I might be 10 minutes late, or, can you try to do something a little differently to like make that connection? Like, I love working with Dan's clients because I know what style they like, and I know what they're going to like want, and all those details. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And we try to give them that information, right? We try to give you a little idea on what the situation is. You know what I mean? When you're heading into a house, a little bit of background stuff.
I do think, Dan, like from what you said, I think the market's so great right now. People need photographers, so they're going to do whatever it takes, however much it costs. Now, it could change in a year or two when people don't need photography as much, and the house market changes. Hopefully, that won't be the case.
We always talk about even with $70,000 lower price point houses. Again, it's from my office. It's about the uniformity in our presentation, right? How we display our listings, what kind of photography we use on our listings. And then it's uniform because if someone else is looking to sell and they have enough wherewithal to go online and say, hey, let's look and see what that guy did. I sold one on Fallcroft on School Lane, and then I get a call going down the shore one year. People down the street who I did not know, I know a lot of people there, said, hey, we saw your sign. We saw how you presented that listing. We want you to come down here and talk to us. So, in fact, I had 2 realtors in. This is a funny story. I was the second one in. I talked to them, and then they said, we're deciding to go with you, Dan. So the wife kind of said she decided to go with me, and the husband, who was probably like 6'5" with a huge beard, he picked me up off the ground and shook me and said, I hated that B word. I'm so glad my wife decided on you. So that was a funny situation, but we got in there because of our quality of presentation on another listing on the block, and then they take a look at it. That's what I mean. Is you could call the big boy anytime. You can call, these big HVAC companies with the pictures on the truck, the orange trucks and all, or you can call the mom and pop who you're feeding the local family, and they care and they need the repeat business, because that's how they're surviving and feeding their kids. The quality of work and the dedication that goes in by this, we're not the smallest players, but we're that professional group that knows how to do our job and brings a value service. Like Jody services are a value service to your clients. And I'll say this, like I have a son, she used to do a lot of other types of photography as well, but I have a son with autism, right? I still have the picture hanging in the basement. She's the only one that could capture Joe because she had the patience and she jumped up and down like a cat, up and down off the floor, taking different angles with him. And it's amazing because of the pride and what she does and the passion for how she goes about her business, and kind of, that's the way we do our business. I mean, and you see a couple of the houses we've done recently. I'm like, you're like, what do you think? I'm like, this doesn't even look like the same house. I mean, it just looks amazing. Go ahead, Hub. Hub's brain is going. Go ahead, Hub.
And speaking of people working with local people, it's really important because then you have a relationship with these people, and you know how they work and they know how you think, and you're able to work together as a team. My HVAC guy is like that. My plumber is like that. All of these guys, these are my pool guy that actually I do my own pool, but the pool guy, he's the guy that comes out if something breaks, and he'll tell me anything. Matter of fact, he gives me help on all kinds of stuff, which doesn't even have to do with the pool too. A lot of these guys do. They become real good friends.
They do. Yeah. And if you have a business
why local
unit,
is really important.
100%.
Absolutely.
And we do that. I mean, we really take pride. I mean, Jody does all my photography. Aaron Abstract does all our title work. Bo DeForge is my main mortgage guy. Ernie Homer is our guy that we refer inspections to. You know why? I mean, and you know me, I beat people up old school Italian like my grandfather Joe Fasoli used to do. We make you earn it, man. We had lunch truck business, and the meat man always used to be raising the money and all. He used to beat Freddie with a bologna every time he could do it. Freddie would get the bologna. So we always, but Hub, a great point in that we really, like my group is vetted. We're in our 5th year now, and you have a comfort level, and you know they're going to bring that professionalism and value to your client because we look for referrals. So we live off of I don't live off of major advertising, Bay. Who runs our advertising and marketing now. But we live off the referrals. So when and everyone that's called in, Gallagher's, everybody, hey, Jody was wonderful. I always preface it. I said, yeah, it's my cousin, but that aside, she's a great real estate photographer. Let's talk. I wanted to get into this before I forgot. Headshots. How about these headshots? I got somebody on my team at one from 1985. Why do we not update our headshots? I updated mine with my bald head. People, sometimes you'll see people, and I'll say, "That's not you. You took that shot like 50 years ago." Like these headshots have to be redone because we're using them in different settings, based social media.
Or how about the ones that are using glamour shots from 1989?
I have an agent that has one, and I'm like,
we know a few, right, Dan?
Yeah, we got it. We worked for old school Century 21 for years. There was a lot of people haven't had headshots done in 25 years, and times change. So, Jody, talk about the importance. Jody does all your professional headshots, even if you're not in the real estate segment.
Yeah.
For LinkedIn and all that stuff. Go ahead, Jody.
So I did Dan's headshots, which by the way, they look awesome. And, just changing with the times, a lot of people want to use their headshot without like the standard backdrop. They want to use their photo that you can drop into maybe your new listing or coming soon, or just some social media. Like, Bay, what you're doing is awesome with some of, the PNG images that you'll get from their headshots. I am noticing more people are working to get more headshots to a little bit more professional, which makes such a difference. And also, if you work with me, I can even throw your image over top of, coming soon. There's a new listing, we can use it for marketing material, which is great if you're building a new group. If you have a whole team, you can add people, you can take them away. You can make smaller groups. If you have headshots, put people together for different marketing ideas, which is great.
Another thing, showcase your office too. Like we moved to a historic mansion in Westchester. And have you been down yet? You haven't been down yet, have you?
No, I haven't. You haven't invited me.
Well, we want to get you to do some. We have this historic mansion that was totally redone that our office is in, and we want to try to get. Hey, look at our office. Look where you could work out of, stuff like that. All that goes into pictures again. I mean, there's so many different things in it. How many times have you been in? 3 times at least we've done headshots for our office in 5 years. We're constantly trying to refresh the pictures that are out there, so it's not the same old stale stuff. It's another important facet to why everybody should be using a professional photographer in the business setting. You forget the iPhone. It's just not. Not
absolutely.
Let me throw a couple questions out there real quick. So,
sure.
One thing is, and it's kind of just I guess maybe an FYI to everybody, and correct me if I'm wrong. When you are searching real estate listings and you see that first shot is a bedroom or a backyard, there's a red alert to me. There's a problem when you're not showing the house as the opening shot, the money shot. I say right away, we have a problem here.
No, I agree on my side. I mean, it's 100% true. You know what? When you open it up and the front picture is complete garbage, and then I use a 4-letter word as I'm searching for clients, and I just click out.
Yeah.
Junk, out of here. And I use another word besides that, gone. And because it's just not, I can't see how it's presented. But Bay, that's a great point, because especially when, like I said, you have a front of the house picture, then you skip to the kitchen, then we try to put them in order, like room by room. It makes sense, and then gives because people can't creatively think. So even that is an important piece. So it shows the flow of how the Hub, he's our resident genius. So Hub's agreeing. So that must be right. So, this is how, it should be presented. So I'm good, Bay. What do you got?
All right. For Jody, so when you're hired, you're hired directly by real estate agent, then not office?
A little bit of both. Like Dan hires me through his office, and then the agents will use me. But I have a few agencies they'll call me directly, the agents, or I guess a little bit of both.
Okay.
So this is the way I do it, because I really want the uniformity, and I know the first thing comes to mind is cost. I cover the out-of-pocket cost because we're a smaller office. And then what I do is, when we settle on the house, I split the cost of the photography with the agent. So I cover half and I cover the upfront cost. And that way everybody has the look that I want for NextHome Brandywine, which is a more professional, polished look. And we're more of a boutique.
Love that.
So then that way, another thing, and Hub mentioned this about having relationships with the vendors. Another reason I do it, the vendors want to be paid. And if you drag people, some people don't like to pay. We pay. When you drag out the bill, yeah, Jody, some people don't want to pay the bill. We have a guy that does Upper Darby Bay, all the concrete. This is getting to a point, but all the concrete, every time you sell your house, Upper Darby wants you to replace the concrete. It's a big point of contention. So I have this guy down there, Robert Galley, Italian guy. Okay. He does all my concrete, but I make sure, and I'll make sure that guy gets paid like immediately, because the guy's there spot on, does the work, and I can't settle unless I have the use and occupancy, unless that concrete's done in Upper Darby. A lot of times you don't get the piece of paper. Conditional, there's other things, but it's very important that the vendors get paid. So that's one of the reasons I pay up front, because the offices will say, well, I didn't know that, or there's a disconnect. That's some of the things you don't deal with when you're at NextHome Brandywine. And I was at all the other major players, Weichert, Century 21, Long and Foster. That's why I want to make sure Jody gets paid, because she did a job. I get my pictures timely. I know it's professional. Another thing, like Hub said, is you understand the character of the people you're dealing with too, right?
Absolutely.
And that goes a long way. Everybody that, everyone has a different personality, but every single person that's part of my business unit is a highly skilled professional. Some of us a little more Delco than others, but a highly skilled professional that's going to get you to where you need to be, because the pictures are important in you selling your house too. Like we talked about that $2 million property. They're not, they're just slapping. The responsibility to photographs is on the listing agent, because you're an independent contractor and you're spending that money to advertise and market your inventory for sale. Just like the guy talked to you, Bay, about the car business. You're trying to move units. So if that car is presented well, someone's going to come in and see a feature, like Hub said, little things, a feature on that house or in a vehicle in that instance, or in the shoot you did for the Airbnb, that's going to try to, this is what we always talk about, this is why Jody and I are looking for more business as well. What separates us from the competition? So, right? So there's 39,000 real estate agents. Everybody thinks they're a photographer. I laugh. Oh, I can do that. They say, oh, can you? Go ahead. My mom always says, you think everything's easy. And that's the truth. Yeah. People don't realize how hard it is. Hub's wheels are spinning. Go ahead, Hub.
Well, see, I have an older house. It's very unique. It's older than all the houses in the neighborhood. And people would come in, and when I first moved here, people would come and say stuff about my house and stuff like that. And a lot of guys would say, well, I used to work in real estate, and they would tell me they knew things about it. And then I came to the conclusion that people who say they used to work in real estate, the reason they used to work in real estate is because they weren't very good at it.
Right. It's true. It's a tough business. I mean, our family's tough-minded. I mean, we had some good business professionals in our family, and we kind of have. I was talking to somebody, and she got out of the real estate business, and she said, I just didn't have. It was too much for me. I didn't have the skill set. I didn't have what it takes to do it. I think, and I had an agent that was coming on board and decided not to do it, and said, I thought it was going to be more like the TV. She said. I thought it was going to be more like. So the TV sensationalizes like everything else. But we want to try to, when we're doing business in our smaller business units, we're giving you top level and reasonable pricing. So Jody, tell us in summary, and Jody's going to send me, I'm going to put her on the spot here. Send me some information, Jody. I might be able to post on our sites.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'll send you the digital, like before and afters. Also, you could see the digital staging. You could even see headshots. We do. I say we, but I'm a one-man show. Yeah. I can put a, traditional professional backdrop, or we could even use, any of your marketing material to put in the background, like your, NextHome Brandywine with the dog or the colors. We could do whatever you like, and then give you photos without everything too. So I can send you a whole bunch of info, and
we're definitely going to do. And tell us. We'll put you on the spot one more time. We're going to let you out of here, but tell us.
I'm having a great time. This is awesome.
And when you say we, that's called the royal we.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Hub's our sidekick. Do you like Hub? Hub's my
I
favorite.
do.
He's
I'm
awesome.
enjoying
He's
this.
going to be on every program. We can't join without him. He's the best. He's always got insightful stuff. Tell us why they should. This is great, though. It's a big, wide open question, but tell us why they should hire you. People, if you're at a school, we did basketball. Jody does that stuff too, and mostly real estate photography, but if you have a school event or a sporting event, Jody, I don't know if you're going to do it, but we'll plug it. She did amazing pictures in like basketball, kids sporting events and stuff. There is a difference. I mean, I know people all try to jam their people in, but there is a huge difference. So, Jody, wrap it up. Tell us why they're hiring Jody Robertson. And again, she goes like me. She'll go to Chester County. She'll go to Delaware County. I'll shut up. It's your floor. Thank you for coming.
If you'd like to hire my services, I would love to work with you. I love what I do. I have a passion for my work and I put 150% in. So if you're going to hire me, I'm not just going to come and do a half-ass job. We're going to really work hard and really put it together and give you a top quality that you deserve. What you're paying is what you'll get, and you'll get 150%. So I'd love for you to work with me and put your trust in me. And I'd love to not only have you as a client for one time, I'd love you to keep coming back and say, we have a great rapport. That's most important, to have a client that I know that'll come back each week and, we can work together. That's most important.
I'll say this too. Like, we had clients that use Jody, and then another client will list, and they know the other people that we sold for this. Oh my God, Jody's great. That's Dan's basically in-house photographer. She's phenomenal, because people get nervous when you're coming into their home too, that their home's dirty, this and that. There's a lot of other factors there. So Jody really makes you feel comfortable, makes it easy to get your photo shoot done, because people do get tense when it comes to that stuff.
Absolutely.
You could tell them where they can find you. Facebook. Are we Instagram yet or no?
Yeah, we have Instagram. If you look up Photo Designs by Jody, and it's Jody, I can send you my website, and you can go on Instagram. You can go on Facebook. I don't have much more. That's where I'm at right now.
All right. And my mother just texted me and said, look to your right. So I was not looking in the camera.
Oh, man, you got to look straight ahead.
You can't get away with one show without someone saying something.
Your mom would
I don't know.
I'm telling you, we're going to have to bring her on. We're going to make Hub Griller one day. We'll bring her on here one day.
We need Anne-Marie on.
Oh, my God. We can't thank you enough. I know you were hesitant. I want to showcase my people. We had Bo, we had Ernie, we're having Jody on about how good they are and how much, I really appreciate what they do for me, because they make me money. So her presentation of my listings puts food on my table. So we appreciate you. Thank you. I'll be in touch. Hopefully some listings come on here.
Thank you so much. And I can't wait to watch your next show. And this is awesome. And if you'd love to have me back,
we definitely will, because
thank you.
We run out of people in the rotation.
Wow.
Take care, Joe.
We'll run out of people, so you'll use me again.
Love you. Thank you. See you.
Take care.
Take care,
Jody.
I love it. She's the best. Listen, she can move around like a cat. She'll go in a house and she'll quietly shift things around for people, because people get real nervous, and I always give her a heads up what the condition is. Is it furnished? Is it not furnished? But it makes such a difference. And she's getting into a lot of stuff like you're doing, Bay, with, overlaying the pictures and doing some short videos and stuff.
Well, you know what? Let me. I got to give credit where credit's due. My other half, Coco, she's been the one. She's been running the gamut with everything that you're seeing up on Brandywine, on TikTok, on Instagram. She's the one in charge over there.
I've been sending stuff to her, and then I copied you in because I thought you might feel bad. She just did a great one on the lead. If you haven't been on, please. I'm getting like Bay now. We were one shy of 250 on our Instagram, and join us on our TikTok channel. My wife laughs when I say that. At NextHome Brandywine. Coco just put a great TikTok up of just speaking about radon in the home. Just a quick hitter. It was well presented, and it was we're trying to get you information and try to present it in a fun way for you.
I'll tell you what, it's funny because when Dan presented this whole idea to myself and then Coco, when we sat and talked about it, it's kind of relating to the photography thing. it's a lot harder than you think. Like, because we're used to being just goofballs and flying off the hip and saying what we want to say. And now it's like, all right, like I gotta like write notes because I don't know what the hell I'm saying and I don't want to say the wrong thing. So it's like what we're doing. It's like literally where before it's like, all right, we're gonna run off the hip and then she can edit it down. Now it's literally like I'm in a recording studio and going line by line and then piecing it together.
I'll tell you what, it's been like a lot of people are going that route. And the people that have been successful really have used TikTok to garner the younger audience. So you have to go where the audiences are. So, it's the pictures for a couple $100, it makes a world of difference in the
Absolutely.
transaction. It really does. We're going to start our food segment. We're going to just introduce it. We're going to tease it this month. I had talked to Hub about it briefly. We're going to tease it. My wife actually stopped and got a couple of items that I want to introduce. I actually have. All right, so here we go. Here's our first one here. Okay, I'm going to read you some interesting definition on this thing. Let's get the camera right. It's called, let me get it right here. Is that too blurry? It's called potted meat. Can we see it good or no? There we go.
Is that kind of like a deviled ham type thing or something?
A ham. That's why we bring him on. Hub. Here we go. So it is a beef based. It's like Spam, but it's like a pate, but it's beef based. I just want to read you quickly because it's so appetizing. Did you
ever eat that stuff?
Would you like? I never even heard of it.
Danny
Potted
loves
meat.
Danny loves salty food. So check this out.
No, I've heard of it.
All right, so
Really?
here we go. Potted meat is a form of traditional food preservation in which hot cooked meat is placed in a pot, tightly packed to exclude air, and then covered with hot fat. As the fat cooks, it hardens and forms an airtight seal, preventing spoilage.
I think I just threw up in my mouth.
So check this out. The difference between potted meat and Spam is that Spam is made from ham and pork shoulder meat, whereas potted meat is typically a combination of beef, pork, and chicken. So we got it at the dollar store. So Bay, if you're tight on a dime, you could put it on crackers and you might enjoy the pot. I saw somebody eating it on crackers.
So is it like spreadable?
It is spreadable. It's like a pate meat. Look, Hub even enjoying it. I got one more.
Have you ever had it, Hub?
Hub, have you ever had Spam or any of that stuff? Or are you out on that?
Yeah. That the thing is that again, like all the Russian soldiers were saved by canned meat that we sent over to them in World War II. In the winters, they would have died if we hadn't sent them out. Same thing, Hawaii. If you go eat Hawaiian restaurants, they'll cut up maybe potted meat or one of these meats. They'll put it along with their Hawaiian dish. So, and to them, that's because they got so used to eating it during World War II.
And I'll tell you, it is cultural and it's like situations like that where people got used to eat it, they stay eating it. I'll tell you this quick story. We had a guy come out from California, and when I was working some recycling stuff, and we took him to the Northeast to the diner, and he ate scrapple for the first time ever. He had to try scrapple, which I don't know if Hub, you know what that is, but it's like a scrap. He don't know what scrapple is, Bay. So we're gonna do that.
We got to get Hub some scrapple.
Yes, and then we'll tell him how to cook it. We're gonna send it to him and tell him how to cook it. This guy spit it out because I've
heard of it before.
So it's the scraps of the meat that they put these spices in, and they make it like a loaf, and you slice it and then you fry it. It's a Philadelphia thing. I know that. A Northeast corridor thing. Some people, I don't know. It's kind of like this potted meat to a certain extent here. So my son eats these. He actually ate one today, and I wanted him to come on, but he didn't come on. It's called Big Mama pickled sausage. So
see, I would eat that.
So Danny loves that. There you go. That's a little better. Big Mama pickled sausage. Look.
Now, is it spicy at all?
A little bit. There's, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's two.
Dollar store too.
This was the dollar store too. You can get these at Walmart. You can get them anywhere. It's called Big Mama. I think they come in spicy and non-spicy. Pickled sausage. It's pickled. Very interesting. What did I just get? Something else was pickled, but it said no. Oh, I got these pickles in a bag. They were a little bag of pickles. And
Oh
it said
yeah.
no brine. So no juice in there, just the pickles, like grab and go crunchy pickles in the bag.
Yeah.
They
They
were
have like
very interesting.
snacker pickle bags
Yeah,
now.
yes.
Mhm.
Which they're not cheap, but I was up at the Wise Market and I got them. So we're going to be introducing new foods. Hub's always got something original with his stuff. And that's going to be a segment that we're going to do monthly. Where's those eggs at, Hub?
Well, here's the thing is that now it's your big chance to try the exotic eggs, the cage-free brown eggs and all that kind of stuff, because they're the same price or maybe a traditionally low price eggs. See, I eat a lot of eggs, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I know they do, but they're the same price. Used to be they were a couple dollars more for 18. And so they're actually a little bit lower. They're like somewhere 60 cents lower and 50 cents lower, somewhere around that for an 18. So you're not getting a bargain on any of them now. The only ones you're getting a bargain are the brown ones.
It's true. Hey, Bay,
have you guys ate the brown eggs?
We have them. We actually have them now. I think my wife bought them because they were no difference in price either. So I think we actually we're rural, so we can go to the farm.
That's what we're talking about.
Hey, Bay, doesn't Stacy Roma Scavenge? She does the chickens and she does the eggs. Dr. Roma Scavenge's daughter. You know her, Stacy?
Why do I know that name?
Dr. Frank. Or his daughter does with the chick. She's got a big business in central PA here, like Lehigh Valley, that area where she's doing a lot of. I know it's a challenge now because of everything that's going on. But prices are going up across the board. We might need this dollar store stuff like the World War II guys. It might need it to survive. That's your protein.
I don't know, dude. You actually don't get a bargain when you buy the food at the dollar store.
You don't. It's $1.25 now up here. They had to change the price.
You're still not getting even if it was $1, $1.25, $1.50. You're still not getting a bargain. You get a better bargain when you go to the grocery store, but you just have to know how to pick it out.
Yeah,
they know how to make money off of it.
Well, that translates back to everything, right? You go into the one big place because it's easy, and you might not be getting the best quality, but it's a quick hitter in and out in some of those places.
But you're definitely not getting the best quality.
No, but not by far. What do you got, Bay? What do you hold?
So I saw these.
It's a game changer.
Look at this. Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, probably the greatest cereals I've ever made.
Danny eats it every day.
I was walking down the aisle and I saw at the end of the aisle, like the clearance thing, and they had these Fruity Pebbles shake-ups. I was like, ooh, it was like $1.50. So I got it, and it's got birthday cake flavored like crunch balls and salted pretzel bites and waffle crisp cereal mixed in. And you would think it's a home run, but it's not. It's really not.
Too sugary?
It's just very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Doesn't have that punch like a Fruity Pebbles has.
We definitely going to ship Hub some Scrapple. I know that.
Yeah, he needs Scrapple.
No, I was going to say we would do a taste test, but you have to smell that cooking. I mean, that's something I'm going to send you a video, Hub, and then maybe we'll cook it one night live because you have to cook it a certain way.
That'd be funny.
It's a little crispy. Some people deep fry, but then you get a lot of grease.
Do you put ketchup on it?
Sometime I do. I'm not a ketchup guy, but sometime I do.
Okay.
Sometime. It depends how I feel.
Well, see, the thing is, this 18 dozen and a half is says it's vegetarian. They're vegetarian fed eggs. Hens, and this says that it doesn't say anything. That it just says they're brown and they're cage-free eggs.
He's got like $50 in his hand right there.
I'm telling you.
I know. I mean, a gold mine. You know what I'm saying?
Telling you.
This cost me like a whole meal. The two that I was going to taste test to see if the vegetarian tasted any different.
There you go.
Because I can't tell the difference. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to tell the difference. What do you think, Bay? Do you think I'll be able to tell the difference?
I don't think they're really. My personal opinion, I don't think there was a difference.
Well, the thing is I think but chickens eat anything. But if they're on a farm, they're probably going to be fed vegetarian anyway, no matter what.
Right.
Because what that is going to be grain. It's going to be easier for them to. Because a chicken is basically walking around finding worms. They're trying grains, everything.
Mm.
All right. So how do you eat your eggs? Let's talk about that. We're going to wrap this up. What do you?
Ooh.
We were just talking about this at the diner the other day about how some diners don't cook every type. So this was discussion.
I do soft boil.
Okay.
Because
we like
the
them
yolks
poached.
are supposed to be good for your brain.
We like them poached, which is similar to soft boil. That's the way I like them.
Because again, the yolk that is not cooked all the way is better for your brain.
There you go.
Because 70% of your brain is made of cholesterol, your memory portion of your brain. This is the theory that I was told. And so that you actually need the cholesterol that's in the egg to help enhance your memory.
Where do you get stuff? Listen, only on the Closing Table podcast you get stuff like this, right?
Well,
only on this program.
That's what these guys like Dr. Kendi Berry and Dr. Joel Wallach and all of these guys like that talk about, is how it's really important to have natural foods that are traditional, that we actually historically have eaten.
Now we're getting to my mom's territory. My grandfather used to say that, like, they didn't have all the preservatives when they were young. And they always tell us now, shop the perimeter of the store, but there's a lot of, even the dollar store crap, there's a lot of junk in the food.
It's junk, man. It's junk.
Yeah.
All junk.
And so it's basically natural meat and butter and all that kind of stuff is the thing that they recommend that you eat.
Out here,
I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV, but that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, we are going to get to know Hub as the months go on here. We're going to introduce him a little more and get to know Hub, and as we bring people into the fold here. What are you thinking there, Bay?
Oh, we have a little message here from Anna Marie. She said about the potted meat. Do not eat that.
That's for the kid. You know, that was for our show, Ma, but Danny will probably eat it because he's into that. And you've bought these for him, Ma, so don't say you didn't. So the big mom, I have diabetes. She's worked for Weight Watchers for 40 years. So I have diabetes. So we always battle over what to eat, what not to eat. So it's breakfast and stuff. I eat the eggs, but I try not to eat too many. So it's always a challenge. We get off track, but we are going to do like a pop-up, like we talked about. We'll jump on here. We'll cut up some material for the podcast. Maybe we'll do a live stream. We'll pick a topic. If anybody send us a message, nhbdtown@gmail.com. If you have any questions or want to cover any topics. Again, we want to introduce Hub a little more. We're going to get our agents on this year a little more. We are going to bring Jeremy back, because he's our favorite artist, and he's doing all kinds of fun stuff down in Carolina. And we'll bring Mike Keener back on. He was our biggest audience to date, and we'll get into a little bit more on wrestling, a little bit with Mike Keener this year. So maybe we'll have Ann Pizzi make a visit here, talk about.
I think that's the big guest right there.
And Hub and her can talk about food and what's nutritious and what's not. That could be.
The other thing too, Dan, is that you have the perfect salesman real estate name, or one of them, because that name is something that people will remember. Pizzi. The people can remember that.
And that's the Italian way to say. But what we did, my grandma Pizzi, she came from Italy. That's how you pronounce it in Italy, Pizzi.
Just like over pizza, here, you said that. And if you say that in your videos, people will remember your name. Have you seen this guy from Florida, the real estate guy named Troy Funk? He says, my name is Troy, Funk. Yeah, Fun K. And he says it every time.
It's like a tagline where it sticks. That stuff sticks.
Yeah.
We're going to do that. We'll start doing some of that. My niece speaks fluent Italian, so we can always handle your business. If you're of Italian descent and don't speak English, we can help you there as well. But real estate markets all over the place. We're going to bring you more next month. Like I said, we're busy. Everybody's tepid because there's a lot of different articles about what's going on. But Hub, before we go, what's going on down there in the market down there? How's it been? Weather been? Everything good down there in Texas?
The weather's been really good, and we're having an unseasonably warm and dry. We really usually have more rain this time of year. And
we had so much rain here, it hasn't stopped raining. We have zero snow, but it rains at least 3 times a week right now. It's been raining.
We're not getting any rain like we have been.
It's been crazy up here. I'm coming down there in March. Not close enough. I'll be in
You're
Houston.
coming to Houston.
I'm going to come into Houston. What's up? 4 hours from you?
It's a 250 miles south of us.
Yeah, it's about 4 hours, right? 4.5. So
Well, it used to be 5.
Yeah, I'm sure. I
When
will
I was
be
a
in
kid.
Houston for our conference, March 8th to the 11th. So we'll be in Texas. Maybe we'll take some fun pictures when we're out there and get them back here to Bay to chop up and put on our social sites. Before we go to nationwide referrals, whether you're in Houston, whether you're where Bay is down there in Tennessee, in Nashville, we're going to bring Eddie Speck on, my good friend from Long Island, New York. We can help you there. We can help you in Delaware. I have a great friend that's an agent down there in Delaware, New Jersey. We have you covered. Freddie D'Antonio is covering Jersey for us. So we have you covered from Texas to Florida to New York, Philadelphia. I got you covered in the entire state of PA. We're starting to do more in central PA now. So until next month, us three will be back at some point here between now and our next official broadcast here with the Closing Table podcast. But I want to thank everybody. We'll do some new food stuff next month, Hub. I appreciate you coming on, Bay. I thank Coco Bay for everything because it's been great so far, and we'll get things rolling hopefully here.
Make sure you check out all the socials too. NextHome Brandywine, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. The YouTube channel will start booming soon as well. So
yeah,
sure
please like us. We're trying to build a TikTok and
follow.
Instagram right now. Yeah, please. It only takes a second, and then it crosses over to Bay's channels, and we're gonna start following Hub here and kind of just expand our family here, as Sonny Hill says, the living room. So we're trying to expand our family here on the Closing Table podcast. All right, we're done this month. We're going to see everybody next month. Thank you so much for everybody that tuned in. And next month, Mom, I'll have the camera adjusted so I'm looking in it more. Go ahead, Hub.
Oh, no, that was a thumbs up.
So Hub's going to be with us, and Bay, and we'll see you all next month.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Bay.